All right. Welcome to Bench Points. College basketball is right around the corner. Some would say that's already started. And at this point for this year, with the amount of exhibition games that we've had, that games that don't count, but we're selling out arenas to support our teams. That just shows the state of college basketball and why we're going to be a massive, massive podcast as we continue through this season, given all the love that college basketball is receiving. So we want to welcome all of you for coming and sitting right beside us here on the bench. And listen, if you want to engage with us, which you should, because we get a lot of things wrong, but we also have a lot of things that are right. But we want to hear from you. So you need to holler at us on our socials. Jake, give them the rundown. What socials do we have available?
We are on the TikTok and the Instagram with Bench.Points or the Bench Points Pod for Instagram and then Bench.Points for TikTok. You'll see clips and different random things we post throughout the week. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's terrible. Most of the time it's okay.
Yeah. And one of the first segments, if you are new to the show, new to the program, is our bench behavior segment. This is a segment where we talk about something that's just truly bench behavior, like just insanity. And I think this is one of the first things that I think this belongs in the Hall of Fame, in my opinion, for bench behavior. But this whole gambling thing that's been going on, the stings, the FBI raids, Scary Terry getting scared. There's a lot of those things that are happening right now that are very interesting, and I just don't know where it's going to stop. I don't think it's over. I don't think it's over. I think it's more is going to surface, but it's really just the situation itself as bench behavior. But I also kind of want to talk about how do you fix it.
Like it's wild and it's far from over. I think this is going to be something we hear about for a long time. It's going to slowly things are going to come out. I think we're doing the right things to fix it. I think this is kind of contrary to popular opinion, but having sports gambling legalized everywhere now, or almost everywhere, is leading to catching these guys a lot faster.
Yes.
You've got these retail books that are reporting and almost immediately when they see something funny, like the NBA knew about Terry Rozier in like 2023 and then started investigating because they saw a bunch of weird bets come in and they're like, hey, something's going on. So, I mean, it happens quicker. I think without it being legalized, we may not even know, especially like Billups and that thing, it's much harder to tell. Who knows how many names those guys are going to absolutely flip over as soon as the pressure gets pinned, because you can't tell me it was a player and a coach that had absolutely no connection to each other whatsoever, that there wasn't some in between dots that tied those guys in with this.
They're talking mob stuff.
Yeah.
Like this is like mafia.
Yeah, this is like all that stuff that everybody was worried about back in like the 70s and 80s in professional sports. And then you started seeing it creep back up in the early 90s. Put on your tinfoil hat. This might have been like why Jordan took his break year because of his gambling allegations. And now you're getting it where like college is like the NCAA is starting to maybe allow players to gamble on games and stuff like that.
The timing of that is the dumbest thing in the world.
Right after Elijah Gray has been dismissed from the Wisconsin Badgers.
Yeah, I mean, like, hey, we're going to let you bet on pro sports now.
Right. So I don't know. Like I think it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. I think they're catching a lot more of it, but then we're going to find out some of our heroes are actually might be villains. And like, I remember watching a Pacers game last year, and there was a couple times where I was like, I think this game is being thrown. This is like early season stuff. And I just remember watching it. I was like, those turnovers just don't make any sense whatsoever. And now looking back at it, my wife was like, do you remember talking about that? And I said, yeah. And she's like, I think you might have been right. And I'm like, I'm not saying I was, but I'm saying there's some evidence that it is entirely possible.
That's the worst part of this. Like, right. It's like when you see stuff on slow motion, and it looks a lot worse than what it was live. Like every bad decision now is like, did he do that on purpose?
Right. Exactly.
Did he throw that 3 rows deep into the crowd on purpose? Like, or was it just an honest mistake and he just launched the ball? Like, there was all sorts of stuff like that. But you bring up the Jordan thing, and I thought this was wild. The NBA knew Terry Rozier faked that injury in 23. He made him sit out all of 24. Who else sat out a year or so? Because it was rumored gambling, and then comes back the next year and was able to play. It's almost like the NBA did it before.
Interesting, like some experience with that. And I believe Adam Silver was in that organization as well. I think he had some behind the scenes look at that. But I do think Adam Silver is the guy to bring us out of something like this.
I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah,
I like Silver.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like his hands are a little dirty here.
Ooh, that's fun. Heard it here first, folks.
I think he's more worried about trying to keep the WNBA afloat. It's like, hey, get the mafia back involved. We're burning $40 million in the Vegas running in. So,
well, and I go back to the Donaghy, scandal, how he was fixing games and things like that. Like I almost feel like that's, I want to say that's worse. It sucks all the way around.
Yeah. Well, it gets neat. Like you start looking at Adam Silver, like back before sports gambling was legalized in a lot of places. He was the only commissioner on this op-ed piece he wrote. We're talking about we should legalize it. So I mean, dude's been pushing for it. So you're like, if you're the only one pushing for it, now your league is the one that keeps getting caught. There's inside knowledge there.
Well, and there's also I was listening to the All the Smoke podcast with and it was just Matt Barnes this time for this episode, but talking about the whole gambling deal. I didn't realize that they're saying that there's even some almost like X-ray glasses being used in poker games and stuff like this.
Yeah, there was a
top
rigged
technology
shuffling machine.
Yeah,
like if you start looking at the Billups thing with that poker, it's wild.
That's what he's talking about. But everything I've heard, everything I've read about, everybody loves Chauncey Billups. Like he's just a stand-up guy and all that. Everybody has mistakes. Everybody has their stuff. But I really want it to not be true. But there's so much smoke.
They've been on him for a while. The FBI doesn't.
Yeah.
Everybody doesn't just show up because you want to.
No.
But
I also think it's funny. Some of the stuff that they've been kind of like Gilbert Arenas has been like. People have been throwing some stuff out there about him, and I'm like, I'm not so sure that he wasn't the first domino of.
Yeah, because he owned the house that he got busted in at first, and then all of a sudden the Billups thing happened.
Yeah.
Whether he did or not, it looks like he snitched a bit there.
I think he squealed. Yeah, very interesting. But it's bad for the game. I hate it just for this, what we were just talking about a moment ago about that just, was that on purpose? I mean, there's that constant uncertainty. Like that really diminishes the game, I think, in a lot of ways.
And I've always said that basketball is the easiest one to pick off because you got so many little guys out there. Like those guys at Eastern Michigan that refuse to cooperate, that makes you look guilty. And so you've got so many teams like that where these guys are not making any money, even with the NIL stuff. So it's hard to turn down X amount of hundreds of thousands for, having a bad game or going out early or something like that. I don't know. And what trainer or coach is going to, if you say, oh man, I'm hurting, it's not good, it's going to not push you through that. Because if you do that, then you're good. And it turns the one time you do that, it's the time the guy's actually hurt. And then you got lawsuits out the ass. So there's no way to get in front of it.
Well, and I think Matt Barnes made some recommendations and don't quote me on this. Again, we're on the bench for a reason, but he also said that getting rid of the unders, the under on different stats, I believe is what he was meaning. About under this amount of rebounds, eliminating that could help out, but also just the dumb bets of he mentioned the movie, the Adam Sandler movie, the Uncut Gems, I think. Great movie, by the way. If you're not saying it, you got to watch it. Incredible movie. I love it.
You ever see that whoever that dumb lady was that was in that movie? It was like, I was at somebody's music, Uncut Gems.
Yes. Very obnoxious.
That made me want to punch a puppy.
Yes. Well, but that movie was the whole thing was about Kevin Garnett getting the tip. That was like the first. That was like the big deal. And so I think eliminating some of those silly bets, what color's the Gatorade going to be, kind of thing. I think that would help eliminate some of that stuff. But it is so damn fun. It's fun. It's just. Too much of a good thing can just get abused, unfortunately.
Somebody always takes it too far.
Yeah,
somebody always does.
Always.
And sorry, I could talk a lot about this, but it's still these guys are millionaires, multi-millionaires,
betting like a couple $1,000s or $10,000 or $15,000 to pay out $60,000, maybe $70,000. It doesn't make any sense.
It makes no sense.
This is dropping the bucket money. It's.
And you're putting your faith that they have all those millions that they left the NBA with.
Well, yeah, that they haven't.
And that's fair too.
Imploded on bullshit.
Yeah.
And Matt Barnes actually, I think he said this in a way that was very responsible. but I think very honest, is that he sees a lot of these guys that go and participate in these things. It's that competitive itch, that competitive desire that when they leave the league, like this kind of satisfies that urge for them. And so some of them take up gambling or take up this side of things for a hobby, and that's what generates that, and then it just
It
gets
becomes
out
an
of
addiction.
control, which I thought was a very interesting point. And he kind of said it in passing, but I'm like, ooh, that'll preach. Like that's a profound thought. I think that makes a lot of sense. But anyway, I also love that podcast, Recco, the Reggie Miller podcast on All the Smoke. Incredible, one of my favorite podcast episodes of all time. I listened to it, I think 3 times. I loved it. But moving on from bench behavior, we're going into our standing O. Who gets a standing ovation? And this is the one that I submitted, but I think that Jake would agree. I think Sam has probably come along on this train as well. But the Tennessee athletics media, like I don't even know what the proper term is for them, but they do a damn good job. Every time the dark mode, clips come out, they are so top notch. Like the Venom one from
Venom
last
one
year
was the best one by far. It was incredible.
To me, that is that's like the Godfather of sports reels. Like it is incredible. It's so good. But then this one is this year's Tron.
Yeah.
And God, it's fire. It just looks awesome.
Yeah, I love that it's coming out for Halloween weekend.
Yeah.
So the Oklahoma game better. I think I think they've officially announced it is at night. So you should get the spooky Rocky Top and the lights. It should be an incredible atmosphere.
I know people at work kept putting their tickets up for sale, and I'm just like, oh.
Now the question is, how much are they putting them up for?
About $200 up.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? We're going to Tuscaloosa in a few weeks. I think there's probably going to be quite a bit of consumption, and we've already, it's going to be fun.
It's one of those things where Tennessee sports right now is really fun. So we'll obviously get into the basketball scrimmage here in a little bit, but or exhibition or whatever the hell they're calling it. But like Tennessee football right now is every game matters. There's not a game on their schedule that doesn't matter right now because they're trying to claw for that last playoff spot, right? So that makes it fun. The media team's getting everybody hyped up for it. I've always said like the Purdue basketball media team is just absolutely phenomenal because you can't really put any media behind the football team right now. Like Purdue's mantra right now is what's a football. And the basketball team, they got a legit shot this year, and we'll get more into that here in a little bit. But these media teams are absolutely fantastic. They're getting the fans hyped. I watch the Tennessee media videos every now and then. I'm like, man, it's like baseball, football, basketball. It's like the Tennessee might be the greatest college sports program on planet Earth.
Yeah, until you look at the record.
So
yeah,
we hang a couple banners. That's all.
Yeah,
that's right. But no, they really do an incredible job, and so that's my standing O for sure for them. They do just an awesome job, and it just hypes everybody up. They are, it's pretty incredible. Last year this last thing I want to say, when they, Jake, who did we in basketball we beat at the last second? And it was the Gainey.
Illinois.
Was it Illinois?
It was at Illinois. Gainey went full court, laid it in at the buzzer.
Yeah.
I think that's the one I'm thinking of because there's that shot.
Where Meshack, no, that was Meshack had hit it over Bama.
Yes, that's what it was. But when that kid with their team runs out on the floor with his camera, I literally have chills just thinking about that. I watched that video so many times because it would just put you in that place. Like it was such a cool shot. So they do an incredible job.
Jonathan Taylor has built his MVP case strictly on the back of Tennessee Titans.
You made the comment,
touchdowns and 1,700 yards.
He really needs to be talked about more. Like I thought that was a really good point. When you text that, it had me thinking. I started looking at the stats, and I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, this guy. He deserves it at this point. But also Jordan Love is looking pretty good.
Look,
if he can keep it up, we'll see what happens.
We're rolling into week 9, right? You don't crown anything in week 9. Colts are 7-1. Titans are going in the complete opposite direction.
Record in the NFL.
Yeah, and nobody had that on their bingo card. Now they got some pretty stiff competition coming up. We'll see how everything pans out. But Jonathan Taylor,
I don't care who you are.
That's Winware.
Yeah, yes, that's right. Yeah, no, for sure. It really is. I thought it was such a good point. He needs to be in the conversation. But if you do go to winwearapparel.com, make sure you use our promo code, which is
bench points, all one word.
listen. That's literally what you're watching right now. It's easy to remember.
Hey guys, they got some killer hoodies, they got some killer jerseys, they got some killer hockey sweaters. It's some fun stuff. I'll be purchasing a hockey sweater here in a little bit, which will kind of lean into my another standing O that I'm going to add.
Go for it.
But yeah, Winwear, absolutely fantastic stuff.
Yeah, Sam. Go ahead with your standing up.
So I'm not, we talk about basketball a lot, and we've kind of lumped in the NBA, and we talked about the NFL quite a bit. I'm going to bring the NHL in here. One, my Blackhawks don't suck. I'm pretty excited about that. By this time last year, we were mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. But Connor Bedard, Bedsy, had his first career hat trick last night. Big
First
time.
time,
I'm surprised it's the first. I've been watching this team, and Donato's doing absolutely fantastic. Nasir is doing fantastic. Teuvo Teravainen, blast from the past when he was a 18-year-old kid playing for the Hawks like 10 years ago. He's doing fantastic. But Bedsy came in with a hat trick last night. Absolutely fantastic. Got a little dicey for a few minutes in the second, but Blackhawks pick up a big 7-3 win. So go Hawks.
It's funny. I actually knew that. I knew that happened because when I watch SportsCenter, I hear Blackhawks because of you. I think I'm like, oh, I've started to pay attention to that. So that's wild.
Preds are sitting right behind them. It could be a fun year for the
dude. You remember when we first became friends and our teams were relevant? That was fantastic.
It was great.
Here we are again.
I know. I need to. I follow the Preds. I get all the notifications. I keep up with all the news. I keep up with everything except watching the games.
So it's
literally.
You ought to go to a Preds game. I tell you what.
I've been. They're a blast.
They're fantastic. Great arena.
Yeah, they're a good time for sure. All right, is that it for our standing O's?
That's it for our standing O's.
All right. Good deal.
Unless you got one, Jake.
No, I'm just in my cups about the Pacers and all the injuries. So just not. We've sacrificed the Pacers here in Indianapolis for the Colts and
yeah,
Indiana football, possibly Purdue basketball. The Pacers were the ones that had to go up on the altar there.
Yeah, that was when Pascal Siakam rolled his eyes in the back of his head, and we knew, 2025, 2026 is over. So,
proud season ticket holder Sam Hauser.
Yep, that's me. I can't wait.
Well, let's talk a little bit about college basketball is we're here, boys. It's here. Now, there's not a super sexy schedule for next week, but there is one particular game that I think we can all agree is must-watch TV. Not only is it a good game, but it's the only game we got that's got some skin in the game here, I feel like. And it's Florida versus Arizona. And we've talked about that briefly over the past few weeks, but is there any big items in that game that you all are really looking out for, or something that, like a storyline or anything like that we need to be really kind of dialing into?
I'm interested to see what Florida looks like here with the depth they've got, because running Hugh Huff, whatever his name is, at the 3, can he handle that? Because, last year, the chemistry they had between those 3 guards with that loaded front court was incredible. Because you had Richard and Martin and obviously Clayton that were just running the table and running through folks, and then the big guys cleaned everything up. I'm very interested to see how how he looks there if Condon wakes up, because he had not a great year last year. And it's going to be, I don't know.
I'm excited about Xavier Lee.
If they're not hitting the road right away, this could be a very easy spot for a pretty talented Arizona team to take advantage of them.
Well, I think these are two teams that are missing 2 big pieces. Arizona missing Carter Bryant, and then Walter Clayton Jr. with Florida. I think there's a few of those teams that I'm really interested to see how they respond to losing their key guys. Same thing with Tennessee, and I think this game is one of those that it'd be kind of fun to watch and see how they respond and kind of what they look like in their chemistry without, some of their key pieces that they've kind of made a brand of.
Yeah, and this is half a home game for Arizona played in Vegas. So Florida's got much bigger travel. So how does that factor in? Or how soon did they get out there?
The Florida folks love Vegas. They do.
Yeah.
God, they love Vegas.
And Vegas loves seeing them coming.
Yes, they do.
But I mean, in most places you've got top 15 matchups, so it should be a lot of fun. Should be a ton of pace. This is a fantastic main game of the night because it's going to be fun to watch. It's on at a decent time for an out west game. So, and you've got two teams that are not the greatest on defense either. So it should be a ton of fun to watch. I mean,
Yeah, it'll be entertaining.
like I said, I think the depth of Florida is going to be interesting to watch. Huff at the 3, and then I mean, we'll see what Arizona does without Caleb Love shooting 90 shots. How are they going to fill that gap?
Live and die by Caleb Love.
When is that? When is that game? What's the time of that?
7:00 on TNT and True TV.
Nice. Okay, that is honestly, when we were doing this, I wasn't thinking about it, and I was like, I bet this will be late, but that's a solid time. Good point.
It should be fun. The biggest negative of this is we're going to hear the name Bryce James 1,000 times just so they can say LeBron James 10,000 times. Because that's just how basketball is. You have to.
Yes, that's the trigger warning for this game, folks. They're gonna be. If you don't like LeBron, you might just want to watch it on mute or try to sync it up with the local broadcasts because it's going to be obnoxious. It's going to be rotten.
I mean, I'm excited to watch Koa Pete. I think he's going to be one of the more surprising freshmen out of the year for Arizona. I think he's going to make a lot of marks throughout this year, and I think it starts on night one. I'm thrilled to watch him play.
And we don't have to look at that god-awful Arizona floor that they created.
Thank God.
That's also a blessing, so thanks for that.
Go to the T-Mobile Arena here.
But there's really no other huge games. There's Bradley versus, say, Bonaventure, Murray State versus Omaha.
Well, I mean, shout out to the Field of 68 to trying to bring the marathon back because the fact when that died, that in 2014 that made me cry because that was one of the most amazing things. Just watching basketball from the time like for a day and a half straight because it started the night before the Champions Classic and ran through all the way up. It did with the Champions Classic, which is a fantastic way to start your basketball season. And then I get it; it's probably expensive on ESPN or whoever sending out 900 camera crews and broadcast crews to random parts of Texas and California and stuff. But that was so much fun. I would pay for ESPN subscription service if they brought that back.
Oh, dude, for sure. There's no doubt about it. And I think and even if they, bringing this back, like if it just is just like one up a level of teams and the programs. No, I'm not saying it has to be the big dogs all the time, but just a little bit up. This could be something again.
I mean, when do you think the last time these guys have played an 8 a.m. basketball game was? Because you got Winthrop and Queen tipping off at 8 a.m.
Middle school.
I'm not even sure they played 8 a.m. games. The guys at this level were probably not. Surely they weren't playing the first game of the day. Like that's that's an interesting spin to see how those guys react to like an 8 a.m. game. That one might be one you want to take the under on because what means warm up start at 6 a.m. Like
that's a good point.
But the thing is, if I'm those two teams, if I'm Bradley St. Bonaventure and Murray State Omaha, and maybe even Drake North Arizona, which all play before 5 o'clock, like that's a fantastic time to get eyes on your program that aren't happen. It's not happening.
Yeah,
because unlike the Field of 68 scheduled great, lovely. The MAC and Sun Belt Challenge, which is a fantastic thing those two conferences do, but they scheduled poorly. They put 90% of their games on at the same time. So they're fighting against the Florida-Arizona game and whatever team you're a fan of and their cupcake game that they're starting with. The MAC and SVC challenge is going on at the same time as that. So like Tennessee Mercer, same time. I know Purdue doesn't play till tomorrow or the next day, but they would have been on the same time as Purdue was playing. Like they have this beautiful thing and just can't quite schedule it right. Like not every game needs to be at 7 p.m.
I know.
You could play some at 5, some at 8, some at 9, something like that, and have a chance to get some more eyes on these programs. But it's one of the things that frustrates me to no end is college basketball schedule when they all think they have to play at the same time. When these smaller conferences, like that's one thing the MAC does beautifully in college football season. They go, "Hey, we'll play on Tuesdays."
That's right.
The MACtion is what everybody's watching MACtion on Tuesdays, and now some conferences have copied them. Like they need to do something like that to get a little more eyes on these guys because it's fantastic basketball. Like James Madison Akron is going to be a fantastic game that it's going to find a way on my TV. Same with Arkansas State, Ohio. I think those are going to be two fantastic games. And if you're a fan of Alabama style basketball, like watching Toledo, they don't believe in having the ball for more than 3.5 seconds before they launch a three. So that's them in South Alabama is going to be fun. But all three of those games I just mentioned, all on at 7 p.m. And they're all on ESPN Plus. So you're going to have a hard time getting multiple of those games going.
Yeah, that's true. I just don't understand the point of the scheduling in that way. It's just very odd.
Because
I'm with you on that. So much potential.
To be honest, those arenas they're not going to be packed out. Like, so if you're worried about people coming to the game, got to be a little honest with yourself here and realize the 300 to 400 people that you have showing up to these games on a Monday night isn't worth the TV eyes.
Well, definitely. Listen, I'm so excited for ball, right? I think we all are. Just to see some basketball being played. I mean, I know it has a lot to do with this podcast, but I feel like I'm sensing a lot of hype. I know I was joking earlier, but I truly do sense a lot of college basketball hype right now, and it definitely doesn't hurt given the exhibition games and scrimmages that we've had. Wow. Unreal, some of these games. Now, Sam, do you want to talk a little bit about the Kentucky-Purdue game?
Yeah, I can talk about it. And so, because I'm going to piss off some Kentucky fans, I'm going to piss off some Purdue fans. So
it's just like any other week.
Right. So here's my thing. This is my 100% honest take on this. It's an exhibition game. It means about as much as 6-7, which is absolutely nothing. Guess what? Kentucky, you look great. You actually look fantastic. And you didn't win an SEC championship, and you're not an automatic tournament berth because of an exhibition win over Purdue. Purdue looked rough. They looked shaky. They also ran combinations on the floor that you will never see on the court at the same time. You also saw Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer, Trey Kaufman ran, CJ Cox, who was the starter, off the floor all at the same time in the first half. The only time you'll ever see that in a Purdue basketball game is if they are up by 30 or down by 30.
That's when we go in the game.
With a couple minutes left to go in the game. So that's about how seriously I took it. Like, I was frustrated with the way Purdue played. I was impressed with the way Kentucky played. In the first 10 minutes of that game, I could tell Purdue wasn't trying to win that game. They were just trying to different sets and different combinations of players to see what would work, like throwing spaghetti at a wall and see what stuck. Kentucky was out to punch Purdue in the mouth, and that's exactly what they did. And I'm actually glad. Like, you need to get a number one team in the country humbled real quick at Rupp Arena. It's one of the most volatile environments for an opposing team. It's really tough. So what did they get experience? They get experience playing a really good team, a completely different style of basketball in a hostile environment, and they lost. Those were the biggest lessons that they could possibly learn. Again, it means absolutely nothing.
I think you also figured out that TKR is not a decision maker.
Yeah.
I think that was a big test in that scrimmage, was seeing how he held up under pressure with decision making, and he did not do fairly well. It's just that's not his game. His game is give me the ball and go back to the bucket, and he can absolutely make a fool of anybody with his footwork. He's just not the guy that's going to be you're going to kind of run your offense around. He's your guy you run your offense to.
I think I saw a little bit of what I was concerned about is how he's going to play on the floor with another big, because he was the 5 last year and he's playing the 4 this year. The one thing I did note, and like I've commented on several videos about this, and like it was like, you don't know ball. I was like, okay, yep, I didn't watch every single Purdue game last year. I didn't know that Braden Smith and the TKR pick and roll was the most widely utilized move in college basketball last year, and TKR had the most 2-pointers because of this action that they did, and they ran it 3 times. Well, maybe somebody's gonna correct me. Maybe it was 4.
Yeah.
So the number one move in college basketball last year, they ran 3 or 4 times. Like, okay,
yeah,
6, 7.
Yep. Yeah, I was watching that Purdue game. Like, Braden Smith's not coming off the floor. He's going to play. He's going to be averaging like 38 minutes a night.
One of the first comments is he played 33 minutes or 34 minutes. Okay, in a regular season game, he plays 40. Just for any Purdue casual, he plays 40 minutes. He's probably played 40 minutes. I'm joking, because I know he's out. He's been out for a while. They're up 40 against U of Indy right now. Everybody on the Purdue roster has scored. Might not be who everybody thinks he is. He didn't look great against Kentucky. He did not look good tonight. And Daniel Jacobson might not be ready for big time basketball, but we'll see how this all pans out.
Do you think that there's potential? So this is my thoughts from besides what's already been said. I think that it's interesting to think about Mark Pope being that guy. I'm going to piss a lot of people off with this, but he's that guy that can't take. He can't pick up around him. Like he's gonna want to win every game because he is like, I bleed blue. So it's like I want to win every game. Doesn't matter if it's an exhibition, a scrimmage, whatever. I want to win everything because it clearly looked like he was like Kentucky was trying to win that game. Purdue was trying to get better.
Yeah, I like we could all put ourselves in the mindset of the coaches and players and all that stuff. I got the vibe from the Kentucky fan base, the Kentucky bench, the players on the floor, and Mark Pope that they wanted to win this game and win this game handedly and make a statement win, and they played like it.
Yes.
What I saw from Matt Painter and Purdue was like 8 different combinations that we might never ever see again because it was like, oh, let's see if this works against a Kentucky team. Because if it works against a Kentucky team, it's going to work against Alabama. It's like Matt Painter is thinking about like 3 weeks from now, not necessarily about an exhibition game that doesn't mean anything.
That's a fair point to go in, like, because I think every coach has several things you can get out of these. Like, one, you could have Painter's attitude that when you've got an established team that's full of returning guys, what you're looking for is, okay, what if I tweak this? What if I tweak that? What if this guy goes in? How does that?
Yeah, broaden your tool belt.
Versus like Kentucky and like Tennessee and Duke and a lot of these teams that want to win, they need the confidence boost. They need to see things work. They like the coach also needs to see, okay, who can I trust on the floor? Not what happens if I do this? Because like the Tennessee one, I don't know. Well, partially because I couldn't tell the difference half the time between Boswell and Gillespie because they looked the exact same. But like I don't know that Gillespie came off the court. If he did,
I don't think so either.
So like that tells you like the attitude Barnes was going with is like, we need to run this. We need to see what's going on. I need to see what my point guard does, not what happens if I put in Berg and Boswell to run the back or, put in, I don't think the French guy, Masamba, even played like, cause we didn't see many tweaking of the big guys with like running JP Estrella out there with Felix or
Carey.
Yeah, or anything like that. So from these scrimmages, you can tell a lot of what from it, but you also got to realize there's a ton of noise out there, not of all of its signal. Like people crowning Kentucky as a championship contender because they beat Purdue at home by like 13 in a game that Purdue clearly wasn't going for all the way. Like that's a bridge too far. Now I can wait. Like I might have been too low coming into the year on Kentucky, which is fine. I'm willing to be wrong on that. But
Purdue might have some serious flaws.
But at the same time, you had somebody going all out versus a team that was definitely not.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's been like 400 analysis of this game. And the same thing with the Tennessee game. What I liked about the Tennessee game was Gillespie playing those kind of minutes because that's the kind of minutes he was playing. And I think Barnes was like, I want to see if I can leave a guy out in the court for 40 minutes. Matt Painter knows he can leave Braden Smith on the court for 40 minutes. Matt Painter took him off for multiple times in the first half and second half. Like, it's just like, I mean, when are you ever going to see that? In any game that matters, are you ever going to see Braden Smith come off the court if he's not in foul trouble?
Well, I think that's the same, like, any other last words on the Purdue game? Purdue Kentucky
just
game?
One.
Okay, because then we'll just go ahead and move it right into the Tennessee.
Yeah, just one. Yeah, like the shooting, like I think TKR like shot like 30 to 40%. Fletcher Lawyer shot like 20 to 30%. Braden Smith didn't shoot particularly well. Like the whole team as a whole didn't shoot particularly well. I'm not 100% sure if that's so much symptomatic of, like a problem or if it was just like getting the ring rust off in Rupp Arena, getting hollered at by, 20,000 folks. So I think there's some flaws with Purdue for sure. They might be overhyped. I'm still going to stand for Purdue here. But again, like at the end of the day, as excited as you are, Kentucky fans, you're still 0-0.
Very true.
That is a stone cold fact. And you know what else is a stone cold fact? Boozer is an absolute problem.
Yes, he is.
This guy, I've not been this excited about a non-Tennessee player in a very long time. This guy this is my love language. He does all the stuff that I love about ball, and he can freaking hoop.
I mean, I was like, there is knowing somebody's good. There's knowing somebody's great coming into the year. Anybody that expected him to put up those kind of numbers against a Tennessee team that was trying to win that game is lying to you. To have a 2020 game against a fairly tall, very physical Tennessee team and one turnover that was really, I'm not sure exactly what Shire was doing, having him out at handling the ball in half court there.
That was weird. I thought that was very bizarre, but
At the same time, I mean, absolutely fantastic game. He was moving guys around down low and getting a ton of rebounds, and his jump shot looked good. His free throw looked good. He handled the ball well and made some fantastic passes. Like, I mean, I think what was the final? 25, 24, and 6.
Yeah.
It was something
It
ridiculous.
was something stupid. And I mean, the 33 points against UCF and shooting the way he did and all that. Now it's like, has a little more credibility to it because UCF's on a low, so it's like, okay, he took advantage of a bad team. It's like, no. He was holding back a little bit against UCF because based on what I saw at Tennessee, who I was impressed with, but he could. I mean, he should have hung 40 to 50 on the UCF, like if he was going at it. I mean, Sam called it earlier, dark horse player of the year. I don't know that the dark horse part is there anymore. Like,
yeah,
I don't think so.
To me, he's the favorite. He's going to be the favorite this year. It's
Number one pick.
Like, unless Braden Smith does what the entire country thinks he's supposed to do and put Purdue on his back and win a national championship, averaging 16 and 10. If Boozer comes in and he's doing 23 and 22, those are Zach Edey numbers.
I mean, he's going to be flirting with triple doubles all year.
Yeah. So I think if he plays half as well as he has in exhibitions, which he is balled out in the exhibitions, both of them. He's looked absolutely fantastic. I think we're looking at a runaway national player of the year, which is Duke's back-to-back.
Yeah. With two very, very different players.
For sure. But he is physically on a different level.
That's what I was most impressed with. Like, you could tell Ament was getting bodied a little bit, and his legs were leaving him a little bit because of how physical Duke was being. And I thought this was an exceptionally called basketball game. I know
I agree.
Duke shot more free throws. They were earned.
I'm used to a lot worse. I'm used to a lot more, sus.
Yeah. But
and
this was fantastic. And I'm hard on referees, but I want to give them credit when they do it. This was a fantastically called game. But Ament, you could tell his shots were coming up short, and then especially towards later into the game, he was having a little trouble where Boozer didn't have that trouble. And the game was just as physical in Boozer as it was Ament. And he just looked physically different than everybody on the floor, really.
He looked like he didn't belong out there. Okay, I'm just going to say it, and that's nothing against Tennessee. It's nothing against the rest of the Duke, team. I mean, there's still some fantastic players there. This kid is different. He has a different motor. He has a different build. The last time I really felt like I saw somebody that was just on a completely different level would have to be, I think, AD, of somebody that really kind of just caught my eye of like, whoa, how much, like how well he can move. Like, it's just different.
I think Zion was there with that frame, the frame he had at Duke and the way he moved at Duke.
That's fair. But he's still so unique though, because he's still kind of got that, he's not squatty.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, he was too thick to be able to slip in between.
Yeah.
And he did it, and it was magical on that run.
So as a Pacers season ticket holder where things aren't looking exactly optimistic, my buddy Jeff and my wife and I are season ticket holders, and we've come up with a couple chants circa the mid-2000s suck for luck chants that the Colts were doing. We're going to go with be a loser for Cam Boozer.
Yeah.
Or shit your pantsa for Demansa. So I got
that's the funniest thing we've said on this podcast.
I've got the Pacers game on right now, and unfortunately they're up 6 against Dallas right now. So I'm like, hey, let's turn that around. Let's shit the pants or be a loser here.
I love that. We should. Hey, that needs to be that needs to be a T-shirt. That's pretty good. Do you? So I know we've been talking about Boozer, but we cannot talk about. I'm still trying to figure out how to say his name. Locally, they're saying Nate Ament, but I don't know.
I've been saying Ament for forever, and
So have I. But literally, our color guy, who's like the utmost professional person, has been saying Amen. But I think people have been very hard on him, saying that he's too skittish. That he's been, of course, the Tennessee fans are, we're a rough bunch. But I'm not worried one bit about this kid. I think he's gonna be just fine.
nope, not worried.
This dude, I think he's gonna be one of the best players we've ever had, and I can't wait to see what he's gonna do.
No, if you watch that, Barnes put him on a bit of an island for a long time.
Yeah,
And I think that was on purpose. Like it was solely for the film room so he could show him, because the guy moved very well. The shots he took, especially at the early of the game, were smart shots. He made some really good plays and did some stuff. He didn't finish and it sucks for him because
It
on
does.
the other side was a guy that he's been talked about with, who had this game that we've just been going on and on and on about, and he didn't. Especially some of those threes looked really bad. But I think when Barnes had put him on that island over there to say, okay, you think not like you think you're hot shit, and I'm gonna teach you something. It was like, okay, you want to be like Durant. That's one of the reasons you came here. I'm gonna show you what Durant did and like what he handled, and we're gonna show you how to get there, but I'm gonna show you that you're not there yet. And I think there was a lot of that. So I think there needs to be some credit given immense way, like to breathe. All the Tennessee fans, don't panic. The guy's not a bust. It's not.
No.
He's going to be a stud. He's going to be all SEC. And
Yeah.
Barnes
Look,
is just taking a teaching opportunity here.
Yeah, and think about your first real experience as a college basketball player is against Duke, who is a nationally renowned program who slaps everybody in the mouth, right? And has for the last 30 years. If there's a time to be a little bit weak in the paint or be a little skittish or get bodied, it's in a preseason exhibition game. Because guess what? Like I said about Kentucky, like I said about Purdue, I'll say about Duke and Tennessee, they're both 0-0. They're both 0-0. Everybody calm down. It's an exhibition.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing too. Like, I think if Boozer didn't have the game he had, the reaction to Nate would be completely different.
Yeah,
I think that plays a big part of it.
The contrast there is bad.
Yeah,
a little not helping.
Speaking of exhibition, I'm just gonna, because I just got I was a little bit behind. I apologize. Been a little distracted. The Purdue University of Indianapolis game just ended. Again, they're going to curb stomp that team every year, every time they play them. And they do this every few years. The one thing that was of note to me was they shot 52% from the floor, which is pretty good. They were 15 for 30 from three. Stark contrast to what they did against Kentucky. Like, again, shaking off the ring rust. They're not going to shoot 15 for 30 against Alabama. They're not going to shoot 15 for 30 against a Michigan team that plays defense, but a little bit of a sigh of relief from a Purdue fan who watched them shoot so poorly. So sorry to interrupt.
No, I think that's a fair point. So some of the other, like,
Yeah,
some of the others,
I
go ahead.
A couple games that were shocking to me.
Yeah.
So I was a fan of USC, and then Arenas got hurt, and that kind of I still think they're a very good team, but it knocked them down a level. I'm not used to seeing Eric Musselman teams score in the 60s.
Weird.
They won both of their exhibition games against Grand Canyon and LMU, scored a total of 127 points in both games. That is a very weird feeling, and I don't know. I didn't watch either one of them, so I'm not sure what was going on, like what his motivation was there. But normally when you have new toys and a new program, you're going out to win and show off. And 67 to 61 over Grand Canyon and 60 to 51 over LMU is not what I would call showing off. So I'm a little
weird,
a little bit worried there.
Yep. Yeah, and there's been some results through these exhibitions that have been like head turning. I think you mentioned earlier was Xavier and Toledo, right?
And that was in our text message. I was saying that's worrisome, because losing to a mid-major team with your brand new toys in state is not great.
No, it's not. It's one of the, like, it's just like, do you go into full panic mode when that happens, or do you like, oh yeah, well we're still figuring it out, right? Like we've talked about in the Big East, and we talked about in some of these conferences, some of them are very bottom heavy. But like in that particular case, I think this is a Patino led team where it's just like, yeah, this is year one. You'll be forgiven if it goes this way. If this happens in year two, you're probably not getting the leeway there.
No.
But I mean, you can definitely tell, like St. John's, what they're trying to do. Because I mean, 73 to 63 over Townsend versus the 96-94 at Michigan. Like those are, like, you can tell that Big Patino is working on things. But BYU is an interesting case to me. North Carolina in the mid 70s get the 2-point win, and then you lose by 1 to Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Demansa looks the real deal. He's going to be a great guard. It's going to be fun to watch all year. But I don't know that for some reason losing to Nebraska like that is a red flag that to me that they don't have a style that they're wanting to play with, and that worries me.
They ran in the early part of the Nebraska game, they ran fives. So they were like, it was almost like hockey line changes. And on the Nebraska side, watched that game. Dude went just absolutely bananas shooting. I mean, just shot the absolute lights out for Nebraska and kind of turned the game on its head a little bit. It was starting to get away from, but this is like, again, forgiven, right? Because you're still piecing together our new roster and all that fun stuff. But it also, some confirmation bias is like BYU seems like the team that can beat North Carolina by 2 and then lose to Nebraska by 2. It's like they can go in and play Purdue or Michigan and beat them by 10 or 15 and then go to a beat up Michigan State team and get housed. It's like it's like a big question mark team.
Yeah, I would just say like the red flag to me was that they didn't have a design style that they were wanting to play with, and that
Right.
could be the coach toy. Because like if you look at Duke, 83-76 over Tennessee is very similar to 96-71 over UCF. Like that is a definitive style they're playing with, and the competition just stepped up. The competition, I wouldn't have said stepped up from Nebraska to North Carolina, but you played a completely different game, and that worries me a little bit. When I say worries me, I'm not worried that they're going to go for the world or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, it's something that piques my interest. I'm going to be looking at. Like, I liked Oklahoma's follow up with beating Wisconsin. I thought that was good.
Yeah,
One
that is a good call, Jake.
One I'm hoping everybody starts waking up to is this Oregon team. Man, they are going to be dangerous.
Yep.
Waylon kid showed up to play, and remember that's no Shellstad out there, so it's like you added another very good scoring guard that makes incredible decisions out there, and then you put Shellstad with him and Biddle. That team is going to be very dangerous. That is one that I'm excited about. So just watch. And it's a good reason to stay up late because I mean they dismantled Utah, and Utah's a decent team. They're not great by any stretch, but 73-53 is a dismantling.
And then the Houston Mississippi State score.
We also forgot to mention that Murray State beat Xavier as well.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Things might be getting bleak.
Houston Mississippi State was a little bit surprising as well. I caught some of that one. That was interesting. It played like I thought it would, 52-61. Houston has no desire to score above 65.
I was about to, yeah.
I thought they might have a little more offense to them this year, and they could have been running very vanilla. I'm not the biggest Houston fan, so I haven't watched them a ton to know how vanilla their offense was.
They didn't run any sets.
So
like it was like there were some high ball screens and there was some actions, but there was no real sets. And like you can see some of these coaches out there, like they're just like, let me put in my starters and just see how they respond early in the season and what they're doing. Now let me try my number 1 point guard with my number 2 point guard.
It's a video game.
Yeah.
It's a video game for them in a lot of ways.
I apologize. I'm stuffed up here. I'm going to have to put myself on mute for just a second.
Another one that's interesting is Iowa State got rocked by
bad.
Like that was, and then just an 8-point win over Northwestern. I'm feeling it might be the team I'm the most wrong on right now. I didn't watch either game, so I don't know a ton about what happened inside the game, but
poor shooting
scores are not giving up 72 to Northwestern and only put up 58 on Creighton, who Creighton's big flaw this year is their defense is not comforting.
It was very, very poor shooting, and it looked a little disorganized, but it also looked like trying some things. So it wasn't like enormous confidence boosting play. It was almost like Purdue playing against Kentucky. It was like there's nothing that Purdue did that instilled a whole bunch of confidence in Purdue fans, or really the team in general. Like same thing with them. Like it was like there were some things that you saw and be like, oh yeah, that's gonna work all year, and then they were like, oh, they're going for Sunday. Like what's happening? So
Remember when me and Brad compared him to Tennessee? That is, yeah.
yeah,
There was a couple stretches in that Tennessee Duke game where there was like 5 minutes without a basket.
Yeah,
Felt right back at home, like I was back watching last year, Tennessee.
for sure. But I also feel like this is what I've been kind of waiting to ask. Kansas, Louisville, that score, does that change anything of your all's perception of Louisville or of Kansas? Kansas won 90-82 over
only
Louisville.
thing that like I'm a little bit more alerted on is that freshman for Kansas.
Hey,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
bad.
Yeah,
Not
So we got
bad.
3 of the best freshmen in like any college basketball era ever right now with Boozer, Debansa, and Peterson. Like they all look absolutely phenomenal. I think Kansas will live and die on that guy. Like he is.
They
He is
have
not-
to.
yeah.
I-
I saw a little bit, like I need to rephrase my Kansas opinion. I'm still not very high on him, but the shooting was a lot better. Now that's one night in an exhibition game without any real pressure.
Right.
I'm not adjusting things crazily, but they shot better than I expected. I mean, I knew, like Peterson aside, like I knew what Peterson was. I didn't know how good he was going to be, but I knew he was going to be very good. I knew he could shoot. I knew he could control that team. He did like in the expected range. The other guys, they shot better on a Louisville team that I expected a little bit better defense out of. So that worried me a little bit, but then at the same time, it's an exhibition game. I don't know how much Louisville was throwing all the wrenches at them because it's not Pat Kelsey's first year. A lot of those guys were coming back, so it's not like he had a bunch of new toys to play with and wanted to show what they could do. He could have very easily just been tweaking things like Matt Painter was. A lot of this is what position the coach is in and what he wants to see out of his team, and they still played Kansas very tight games. Like people are high, like, so we'll see. That just opened my eyes a little bit that Bill Self may have fixed a couple jump shots that I didn't expect him to.
And this is the last game that I wanted to point out that I thought like one of the scores that really stood out to me is the NC State South Carolina game. For NC State 88, South Carolina 86. Good on South Carolina.
Does that make your Will Wade hating heart a little bit lighter?
No, not really, man.
South Carolina had a dude went nuts. I don't know if I think he hit like 12 threes.
Really? I literally just saw the score and I was like,
Eli Ellis or something like that.
I need to dig deeper into that.
I think he just was on fire, but it was nuts, and I think that had a lot to do with where South Carolina was. But
Yeah, Eli Ellis.
yeah, I think
Is that it? South Carolina, they get on my nerves too.
I mean, he put up 23.
Yeah.
It was 5 of 7 from 3, but he was having a game. Like NC State everybody's high on them relative to what the expectations were. It's not we were thinking NC State was a second weekend to Final Four.
Yeah.
No.
So I think this like kind of slowed their hype train a little bit. But I mean, Eli Ellis, he was fun. Those highlights were fun to watch.
Okay, I'll have to go look at that then. There is a tweet here. We'll wait on skepticism about Eli Ellis. Who's skeptical on that? The basketball skills are one thing, but the moxie and the toughness and the grit, that's what you have to have if you're a smaller guard to make it in a power conference.
You know who he reminds me of? Maybe we'll see the talent wise, but Marshall Henderson. Remember him at Ole Miss?
How can you forget? You
That
can't
dude
not remember.
It was incredible the way this guy runs his mouth, and he's like I think he's 6 foot. He might be under 6
Complete
foot.
fool. He's a fool.
Yeah, and it was like he's gonna make watching South Carolina fun, especially if you're a Lamont Paris fan. He's gonna be somebody you can just like, especially with the way. Could you imagine Marshall Henderson with 2 million followers like this kid has? Like on social media, like that would have been. Oh,
It'd be like Lane Kiffin in a basketball uniform.
Gosh, So I don't want to say this guy is Marshall Henderson because that was a special run he took Ole Miss on,
For sure.
but he's going to make South Carolina basketball fun to watch.
That's fine. He's from Hickory, North Carolina, right over the ridge over there on my end of town. Is there any other bigger game? I think those are some of the bigger games that we kind of touched on. That were some interesting scores.
I mean, we've got a
SMU.
completely different Texas A&M team. They put up 95 in 40
know.
minutes instead of
Good
7
point.
overtimes.
UConn's looked really good in their exhibitions, even without the other day they played Michigan State without Braylon Mullins, who's out for
6 weeks?
potentially 6 weeks. I'm hearing some chatter that it might be a little bit less than 6 weeks.
I hope.
Do not rush back. Do not rush back.
Yep.
Do not rush
Yep.
back.
I think what they're
Just
optimistic
time.
for him being back for the Kansas game. But even still, I'd say maybe bring him off the bench until we know 100% for sure he's ready, because that kid's a first round NBA pick, and I'd hate to see him have to go another year because of rushing back for an injury. But I know he's a young kid and he's tough.
It's got to be the hardest thing in the world to be on a team that's that good. It's going to be playing in that much spotlight.
At Madison Square Garden like 2 or 3 times in the first couple months. Imagine being like kid from Greenfield, Indiana, missing that.
Yeah, that's
so awesome.
my heart breaks for him because that's the whole reason he's in college this year. UCLA, San Diego State was interesting. 67-60. UCLA took the win there.
Good one, yes.
So I'd not seen a minute of that. That's one I need to go look up and see what went on. Because once again, UCLA's got a bunch of new toys that they're playing with, and San Diego State has the same team. So I don't know what the strategy was. If you could tell San Diego State was just tweaking things, or if they were really going at it, because the chance to knock off UCLA is always fun. But so that's I think that's the last interesting one to me.
Yeah, and update on the Pacers score. They're up 11 right now, so they did not get my be a loser chant right now. So
Who's even playing for? Who's scoring for them?
I don't know. Siakam. Matt McClung has gotten 3 minutes so far.
That's as many hours as he got as a Bull. So
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's true. That's a fair point.
Siakam has 8, Jarris Walker has 10, and everybody else is in pretty low single digits. And then for Dallas, Russell off the bench has 10. Everybody else is just not doing it. So Flag's got 2, 4. Flag's got 4. He just connected on a 2.
Well, Jake, how late are we in the second half? Are we getting there?
yeah, man, it's
Getting low.
this one's over.
Yeah,
I get you. All right. Well, it's time for your favorite human victory cigars to go out there and do our business.
catch you at the next blowout.